excited to be here again with you at home. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Receive right now a big hug. And today we will continue talking about the practice of the gospel at home. I'm Bernadette Leal, your host. I'm also a volunteer with Sembradores de Luz, and I work with the children's department. And this is something that we decide to do, sharing more about what the gospel at home is. We had so far 3 lives. We talked about the history, how the gospel at home helps us with with enlightenment, with knowledge, bring light at home. What's going on? What's the benefit to yourself, to your family, to your neighbors, to the world? And believe me, we do need another enlightenment in the world right now. And guess what? You can be the light. And we are so excited. But it's not all about me. Today, we brought 2 amazing guests. Here is Elsa Rossi and Charles Kempf. Hi there.
I
Oh, let's get else use the microphone. Okay. So the beauty of doing this is live. We can talk to anybody in the world. There are no more frontiers. There are no more walls. We all here, all brothers and sisters, working together to enlighten this beautiful planet. And Elsa, right now, he's in England. She's in England. Elsa, hello, Elsa.
Hello, my dear friends. Hello, Charles. Hello,
So
dear
tell us.
Bernadette.
Hi.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, I'm here again. And a short time with you will be amazing for me. It's a good experience. I am Elsa Rossi. I live in the UK more than 27 years. I write books for children, for spiritual side. I am now the chairperson of our British Spiritist Society Union, and I am as well the Allan Kardec Study Group chairperson. So a lot of things to do regarding gospel at the home and spiritist studies to us and to the world.
Nice. Well, thank you, Elsa, for accepting the invitation. You know, Jesus is calling us to do the good, and you said yes. So, Charles, hello, Charles.
Hello,
Tell us.
Bernadette. Hello, Elsa. Yes,
Hi, Charles.
I'm Charles Kempf. I'm from France, but actually in Portugal to have a little bit smoother climate that for the winter. I'm spiritist since the 80s, and in France, working for the spiritist movement in France since the early 90s. Also involved in the international spiritist movement, Spiritist Council, organizing the World Congress in 2004 for the 200 years of the birth of Allan Kardec. And I'm working today on the French-speaking spiritist movement, which is looking for the synergies of disseminating spiritism in French, also including for youth and children. And so that's more or less it.
Wow, that's very good. Exciting to know a little bit more about you guys. And I'm here in San Diego, California. It's morning here for me, and you guys, it's what, 6 o'clock, six
It's o'clock.
something.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
night already, yes.
All right. And I heard that they are so busy that after this live, they have another live. You see how
Yeah.
much work? So, but let's start with the topic of today. We talk about doing the gospel at home, um, gathering the family, all these benefits, how we feel here in the flesh, in the material realm, right here. But I was wondering, all this is going while everything is going on here. What about in the spiritual plane? what is behind the scenes, what's going on in the spiritual world when we are doing this. So, Charles, can you talk about this? What's happening spiritually when we are doing the gospel at home?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, and indeed, the book Messengers, which we has been used as a reference in section 35. In fact, we need to start from section 34 and go up to section 36 to have a complete view about all what's happening in the spiritual world. These books, this one in particular, is the second from this series, André Luis from Chico Xavier. And it's a huge, excellent reference about afterlife, what happens in the spiritual world. And it's very interesting because messengers is basically some spiritual messengers which are sent close to the earth in order to help some of, like us, poor incarnate people here to develop their missions. And it's very interesting how they described it, because from this section 34, they first describe a very little, tiny, humble house where which is in the middle of that city. And André Luis, as a spirit, is describing the ambient here on earth is quite heavy. A lot of spirits, quite dark, wandering around, and not always with good intention. And he's describing them. They are doing like dark clouds around them. So this is just to have an idea of how they perceive the ambience here around Earth. But on that tiny, small house, there was, in the spiritual ambient, quite something comfortable, with more light and so on. And the guide of this spiritual mission, messengers, saying, here we have, refuge. Here we have a house where we have installed ourselves, and where we have some protection. And guess what? That house is exactly the house where a widow, a very poor woman called Isabel, is practicing regularly every week this gospel at home with all her children. And only this practice is then a key element in order to ensure this spiritual ambience. And he's describing it. I'm going very quick about it because we have not so much time, but he's describing it in quite some detail. And so this activity by this widow, Isabel, is then helping the mentors in order to come and to assist and to perform some missions here and there, and to help wherever they can. So it's something very interesting. So there in that house, you had a lot of good spirits, lightened spirits which are here to help us, and so on. And thanks to those vibrations, they do a kind of a spiritual protection around it. Because we know the spirits, they can go through the walls, our material walls, doors, we can lock everything we want. They just pass through and they are here. But in the spiritual world, for the people who have maybe seen the movie No Solar, they have also a wall around. And that wall, which is not a material wall, but let's say a wall in the spiritual world, that is then not allowing any spirit to pass through. So it is really something that we do not perceive with our material eyes, but that in the spiritual world is a real efficient protection against spirits who would like to come in and to jeopardize the ambient, or to bring some difficulties or perturbations. And he was then there observing also this lady and also the children. And he was seeing how through this practice and through cultivating the good thoughts, this lady Isabel was irradiating light around her. So it's interesting to see how what the spirit see and what we do not see. And all this, of course, the question was, what is the preparation of them? Here it's already a consequence, a kind of a win-win situation where we call the good spirits, we do our part, and then they come, protect us, and help us in doing even more our part, So it has really to be seen like that. And albeit the house was very small, very poor, humble, they even say they had only one meal per day
Oh my
because they had no
gosh.
money enough to have 2 or even 3 meals per day. But that doesn't matter. The spiritual ambient was really absolutely perfect. And there is another interesting point. You please cut me if I speak too much. There is another interesting point.
Uh-huh.
She was widow, and her husband was called Isidoro, and he was there present as well as a spirit, helping in all this, because there was a very they loved themselves very strongly, this true love by heart. And even albeit he has passed away, went back to the spiritual world, he was allowed to stay in that house in order himself also to contribute to help his widow in all this preparation, like a kind of a special grant. Andre Louis was also observing the children. There were some girls, I think 5 children in total, if I'm not mistaken, which the girls had also good vibrations, good energy, and so on. And there was the youngest boy, and he was a little bit more difficult, and it was clear from the spirit that he came from a different plane, which was not so elevated as the other in this family, in order to get the benefits from this good ambient, helping him to become better as well. And it's very interesting to see when they are sitting together in that small room, preparing for the gospel at home. The boy is coming, obeying more than willing to go, but the ladies, his sisters, going there willing to go. And it's extremely interesting to see how the whole family indeed was getting benefits from all this organization, which was, of course, on earth, but also in the spiritual world, in a true cross worlds collaboration, let's say so.
Awesome. So, Charles, thanks for giving us a good idea about the book. And
You're
summarizing
welcome.
again, please read this book, The Messengers by Chico Xavier and Andrea Luiz. You can find this online on Amazon. Just Google. We really, really suggest that you read this book. And well, Elsa, he talk about a lot of stuff. Like we can have some spiritual guests, right? And would you like to add anything or talk about all these people that can come and visit us when we are doing the people, the spiritual beings, right? Can you talk a little bit? What would you like to share with us?
Yes, it's very important. First, in nowadays, in the tribulation of the world, tribulation of our lives, existence, etc., it's very important that we have time to sit around a table or on a sofa or under the tree and with our children or our elderly people at home or guests, physical guests, do our home, our gospel at home, homework to do toward our spiritual side. We must do that because this time that we are dedicating to read a Bible, the Spirit's book, or gospel, whatever, we are connecting to our inner self, to our mind, to our spiritual friends, to our spiritual benefactors that are helping us to maintain ourselves in peace, and maintain our home, as Charles said before, this fluidic wall, protecting our family. Yes, we can have guests, we can have other spirits that come to listen what we are talking, vibrating our sound of our voice, so they can capture what we are saying and learn and better themselves, improve themselves. So it's very important. Yes, it's true.
So it's like when we do the gospel at home, it can become a hospital, a school, right? That spirits that are there, they can come and enjoy and learn with us. And it's so exciting to know that we are doing right here, God's work, Jesus' work on earth. And we know that Jesus did this, talking about so many wonderful things and spiritual education and enlightenment. And as you said, we go through so much that actually it's my next question. I, you know, we've been all having tough time, stress once in a while because we live on earth and that's life. We deal with pain. And there was one day I was feeling really upset. And I being honest, a little bit hopeless because everything that's going on in my life and crying. And there was a time to do the gospel at home. I go, do I do it? I don't want to do it. It's not working. But I said no. And that voice, your mentor, come on, Bernadette, do it, do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. And then I get the book. I got the gospel according to Spiritism. And when I opened randomly, it was exactly what I needed to hear to give me hope, strength to keep going. The question is, how randomly was that? What do you think, Elsa?
Yes. So important, as you said before, and Charles pointed very well. We can help spirits, incarnated and discarnated ones, when we do our gospel at home. First, we have time that the benefactors make their agendas to stay with us in our home, physically speaking. So the spiritual side that a lot of working that are happening at the same time that we prepare ourselves as the messengers, this chapter 35, let us know how the lady around the table with the two young girls and a little boy sat at the table, opened the Bible at random, and something very important. When we are about to read something that we think that we are only open, no. There are, for the spiritual side, the benefactors that are taking care of our family and inspiring us to open the right page, the right study that you can read and talk with our children at random for us. For them, was a preparation that we must respect, read, and think about the words, the paragraph, and the lesson that we can discuss around our little ones. We saw as well that the two girls was very close to the colony North Solar, okay, Astral City, was saying the mentor. And the little boy came for the lower zones. So the two different kind of the levels in the spiritual side that was there physically. But from the other side, the benefactors was bringing some spirits that needed to listen and participate in our gospel, even the husband of the lady, and the family was in this fluidic space, protected themselves. So we have the spiritual guests, yes. For the spiritual world, yes. We have the mentors, the spirit that was brought there to be with us and protect the intruders. So the intruders, the ones that want to come and perturbate the place or the space, they don't act because the protected was done by prayer, serious studies, and talking, and the lessons that come in a prayer or come when she was commenting the gospel. So these things happen, everything together, and we are the ones that receive the most important benefit. One important thing that I think we must recall, when we have our time to do the gospel in the home and try to start for the first time, that is my experience, okay? I'm sharing with you. You are preparing to do the gospel at the home, the phone rings, someone knock the door, someone
Yep.
come immediately out of the blue visiting you. Yes, everything happened, but you can, some guests appears on the door. Oh, I was passing by. I want to talk with you. Have a coffee, blah, blah, blah. Okay, come first, sit. So we are about to start our gospel in the home with our children, our family. You can participate if you want, or you can sit in another room and wait. But it would be very good if you participate with us. So the guest sit, participate, listen, can talk, and see the importance that the family are gathering for a wonderful purpose. The gospel of the home that says, I'm talking with Jesus, and Jesus are talking with me through the benefactors and through this book, this amazing book that is Bible or the Gospel according to Spiritism. But by the way, was translated into English. The first translation was done by Janet Duncan, that is still alive, 97 years old, but she is, of course, with difficulties. And I am now in charge for her group that she was the founder. That is an Kardec Study group. For me, it's an honor to be beside this lady that has so much to teach us. Especially, she developed a booklet, How to Do the Gospel in the Home. That is amazing. We distribute everywhere. That
Right.
is the importance to have our booklet and share to the world. Bernadette.
Wow. Thank you, Elsa, so much. You have shared with us. Actually, I was not even gonna ask this question to Charles, and we are just moving along. But Charles, would you like to add anything about what Rosie, Miss Rosie, Elsa
Yes,
shared with us?
indeed. So one important point is Miss Isabel was asking her daughters, her children, to participate. Huh? One has been asked to do the prayer, so she did a prayer like a child, which was talking to their to brothers and sisters and brother. Huh? Then they also read a small text in a book, huh? Which was about thoughtlessness. Sorry, I had to check again the word because it's not a word that I use very currently in English. And then also one fact that they got from the news, and it was a young lady which was living in their city, which unfortunately committed a suicide because she was desperate and so on. So you see the link by chance, thoughtlessness and committing a suicide, which things are linked, because if we think about, if we make some reflection before doing a suicide, of course, we are, how to say, inspired to think about and not to do it because it's really not, it's not the good outlet door, clearly. And that was then some fact involving a young person through these lectures. So you see how the chance, by chance, as you told, made that all the different parts of their activity were in fact linked together. Huh? And then Donna Isabel opened also the gospel randomly. Of
Right?
course, her husband and some other mentor was here with her in order to open at the right pages, giving exactly a message also to help the people present to think about this and how to say, to make some prevention to avoid this kind of dramatic event. And also, so she was reading first and then commenting. And during the comment also, there was another spirit which was linking to her in order to inspire her, having the best words, the best interpretation in the best form, so that
Mhm.
it was perfectly understandable by the young children who were with her.
Great. Wow, so much information. And you are that at home. Remember to subscribe, go to our website so you will learn more about the gospel, how to do the gospel at home, and the importance, how this helps. And there is so much going on backstage that we have no idea. And that's the beauty of this philosophy, this spiritism, that clarifies so much what's going on. This is a philosophy, this is a science. And I'm telling you, since I started studying this and I am like older, like, grandma, since I was 20, how old was I? I think it was about 23, 24, and I was having a lot of problems. And randomly, I was walking downtown and I found the Spiritism. The Spirit Society was the Federation São Paulo. And I go, what is this place? Everybody walk and go, what is this? And then they explain. And I went there randomly, by chance, and that opened my mind. This the gospel at home, and how my husband is with me, and I feel the difference. I feel that day. And I also, on that day, Elsa, you were right. Suddenly I have a tummy ache. Suddenly something happens, but we keep going. We keep going. Thank you so much. So, one more question now. As we are talking about the book, right? Um, there was an intervention of one spirit when they opened the book and the message. Let's see, Elsa, can you talk about it? How did it happen? Was the spirit helping, with interpretation of the book, of the message?
Oh, André Luiz pointed very well and informed how this happened regarding the mentor that was there, inspiring Isabel to open the book is Fabio Aleto, and those that were in the same condition of Fabio Aleto, a higher level spirit, will be able to hear his thoughts. But those who are in the lowest mental zone will receive the interpretative values as it happens among the incarnate. That is, we will have the spiritual light of the verb of Fabius in the translation of the materialized verb of Elizabeth. So that was the importance, because when we think that we are doing things alone, good or bad, we are never, never alone. Never alone in the street, never alone working, never alone going travel, holiday, etc. We are all the time connecting with something that is this fluids that come and go as a waves, red waves. We are immersed in them. We are connecting to the ones with the ones that you are in the same tune. If you are a bad person, never do gospel at home, never okay, take care of your spiritual side, or you said, no, God, I don't believe in God. Oh, Jesus, no, it's for other people, not for me. Oh my God, it's really a pity because these people, if they discarnate like that, they will be wandering spirits. They come and go, come and go, come and go, and we pray for them. So in our gospel at home, when we are open at random, so we spoke this many times, we are never by chance. Everything is, especially in the gospel at home, in the home, that we are cleansing, fluidically speaking, our home, okay? Above walls and the ground, everything will be cleansing from the negative thoughts, negative energy that people can put in your life, okay? Our enemies, we pray for them, we pray for our home will be cleansing. We read inverted commas at random, but in this case, Fabio Aleto was inspiring Isabel to open the right page, and the interpretation that she was doing came from her heart, especially because according to the level. So, Isidoro, widow, had gone into deep concentration for a few moments, as if she were absorbing the light that surrounded her. Then, revealing extraordinary firmness in his eyes, he began the comment. Okay, so this comment from Fabio through Isabel was clear, but Isabel, of course, brought what was easy for her to pass to the children, to say about the notice that was the lady that committed suicide. So everything was a wonderful, a beautiful message that Isabel, absorbed from Fabio through her mind, her filter, and pass through and explain it to the children there. It was a moment that she felt herself really enveloped in light, in peace. That it means we can cleanse our body as well, filter everything from the spiritual side, what we say, né? Magnetize the ambiente with our voice, our thoughts. We can do amazing things. Inverted commas. We can do miracles when we do the gospel in the home. Sometimes we have a lot of problems, heavily problems. We have difficulties, challenges to overcome. And when we do the gospel in the home, we can do all this kind of thing without suffering. We can promote it, né? Well-being in everybody around us, even if you have problems. I don't need to put my problems in other people's shoulders or blame against God. Because if I'm reading the gospel, especially when we understand why I must do the gospel in the home, but not that I'm doing for only do. I do my gospel at home because I know the importance. I dedicate my time. So the benefactors, of course, will be with us and help us to overcome our difficulties. And doing our best, they do their most towards us to help us. We must teach our children. So the early ages, there are a lot of ways to bring the children to do the gospel around the table or whatever, or even doing a picnic. You can promote something good for the children to know Jesus, to know Spiritism since early ages. It's not something that you say, no, later on I will teach my children so they can choose what they want to do. No, it's nowadays, it's today, now, that is the time to educate in the spiritual side our children to be a better person, to help spiritual world, to be in touch with the grandma, the parents, relatives that we have a lot that from the other families, other incarnations on the spiritual world. Sympathetic and antipathetic. People, spirits that doesn't like us. So here I can see a question. Can I read the question? What
So,
a joy to
oh,
see. No,
it wasn't a question, it was just a beautiful comment. What a
okay.
joy. But I
I
do
saw a
have,
question before that if evil spirits can perturbate. If
Mm-hmm.
we don't do the gospel in the home is our defenses, eh? That is a protection that we create in our spiritual atmosphere towards ourselves in our homes.
But it's like, since it is a hospital and a school, there is a possibility of bringing some spirits with the protection of higher spirits there to listen and learn, like as a school, everything under control.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Mhm.
I tell you, once also my children now is 50s, okay? But when they were tiny ones, little children, 2 years old, 5 years old, we use all the time to do our gospel at home, all the time. And my husband that day, he said, I won't be able to be on time at home to do the gospel. You can do it with our children. So I sat in my chair, my children in the other chairs. Okay. And the chair where my husband used to sit was empty, of course. But as soon as I started the gospel with my children, I said to my children, we have a visitor today. In the dad's chair, there is a very nice spirit, illuminated in purple, and with a covering his face with a hat, and like a capuchinho, né? São Francis of Assisi, okay? Probably from this tree. And he was there, and we pray, and the lights that came from the table almost like that. So people said, spirit, gospel in the home is not a mediumship meeting. No,
No.
it's not a mediumship meeting. But when Aleto inspired Isabel, she was a medianic moment that she was captain. She was captured
Mhm.
his thoughts and was saying good words towards the children. So this sometimes happen. It's not always that we can see the presence of the benefactors. But on the other hand, there is, of course, as a school, spirits they were brought to the ambient, but with a side, not above us, listening, seeing the importance in the family gathering on behalf of Jesus, and with the presence of the benefactors, in order to see how good words can change their lives in spiritual side. So they can come listening as someone that is ill, but come slowly, stay listening, pay attention, and so they can go to the colonies or go to their places. So never they can attack us. No. The gospel in the home is always a protection. Never we will be attacked from the evil spirits because we are praying, we are connecting to God. Never. As a hospital, yes, we can put water on the table, special water for a dad that is not okay, a grandma that is ill, put a name, pray for her, and pray for the benefactors, né? Put spiritual remedy or spiritual medicine in the water, and the water is for special for the person that we are giving the water. So that is a hospital, as I said, school, but it is a place that we open the door for Jesus. We are
Love
Actually,
it.
nothing without Jesus. Oh,
So,
Charles.
actually, Elsa, it's interesting because you see that during the meeting, one of the daughter started asking, "Mama, why do we have only one meal per day and not 2 meals per day as my girlfriend?" And she was then answering and explaining she's widow, the difficulties they are passing, and so on. And then the little one, which was, how to say, a little bit more complicated, also started challenging her mother and quite stronger. And there you see how to say, his influence as per his level of vibration, how he was entering, trying to find, or not to create a conflict, but challenging his mother. Mother, why don't you rent this room where to someone else to make a warehouse or whatsoever? And the mother said, "No, this room is for our gospel at home. I don't want to rent it." "But why you should?" And so on and so on. And at the end, also through this inspiration, The mother got the right answer in order to calm and to help
Calm down.
her son to come back on a good, positive position. We only attract perturbating spirits when we have bad thoughts. Okay, so this
Oh,
we should watch always. To make a gospel at home, to pray and so on, and then you go out and you start having bad thoughts. That is the law of attraction.
right,
Bad thoughts
right.
are attracting complicated spirits, but good thoughts, which are induced, in fact, by the lecture, by the readings we do during the gospel at home, is helping us. But we should watch ourselves and stay, pay attention to our thoughts the whole week. Yeah.
Actually, Charles, this goes with one of the questions that we have here. Maybe you already answered, you and or Elsa, but the question is, let's see. You mentioned about suicide. Can the gospel at home help spirits who committed suicide?
Yes, as well, because in this case, it was they talk about the case of a young lady who took her life in the city they were living. So through this gospel at home, through this prayer and this thinking they made, they helped the spirit of that lady for sure. Huh? It takes time. It's not so easy, but at least it's a start. It's bringing some consoling. It's bringing some light. It's bringing some relief in the situation this lady was probably at that moment. Yes, definitively, yes.
Good, good. Well, we are coming to the end of this amazing chat. And and we would like to know if you have any final message, any closure for us. And we would
Yes,
like to hear a little bit. What is the message to our
very,
friends
very
right
quickly,
there that you want to say to them?
very quickly. I mean, spirits exist. So this is proven by the spiritist body of knowledge. We have a soul, and this soul is immortal. When we die, only our body dies, but the soul does never die. So there are souls everywhere, as we have seen, as we can read it very, I commented it a little bit at the beginning, everywhere around us. So we need to live with this, and we need to know how to live with this in the best possible way. And this best possible way is working on ourselves to get good thoughts to help all these souls which are in difficulties through good thoughts, good readings, and so on. So this is really what we should cultivate and do the whole day in order to help not only ourselves and our family, but also all these souls which sometimes are lost around us, and also attracting the good souls, getting into this virtuous circle and going out of this vicious circle when we have bad souls. So it's up to us. We have the choice. So what are we waiting for?
Thank you. What a beautiful message. What about you, Elsa? What would you like to
Yes, I'd
say?
like I'd like to be clear that our gospel home is not a mediumship meeting. We never encourage children. Are you seeing some spirit or things like that? We do only a study, a prayer, and yes, we can have a little notebook. We can put the names of the people that want our prayer, and we can do a nice vibration, a nice prayer with vibration, sending good thoughts, positive thoughts, asking the benefactor to help all the names that are in our reading book, etc. That is important. Especially, don't forget your children aside. Bring your children to the gospel in the home with you. Start with 5 minutes. After 10 minutes, read for them, or if they can read, they can read. They can see a book for children and pray together. Doesn't matter. It's a short time because children sometimes that don't like to be a long gathering. But it is important to bring the family together in the gospel in the home if you want to change the world to be a better place to live. Well, kiss for everyone. Thank you so much, Bernadette, for letting us know be with you today. Thank you, Charles. That is always wonderful. Listen, Charles, what he says is clear for me. It's very touching. And thank you all for being with us.
We want to thank you. Actually, Elsa, in one of our lives is going to be dedicated only for the gospel at home with children. And we will go deeper into how to do it with a lot of suggestions. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, you brought that up. And you at home, I hope this talk with amazing guests, Charles and Elsa, brought some education and enlightenment to you. So you have to start the gospel at home. What are you waiting for? We have all those videos. Remember to subscribe, and we will answer your question and help you. And remember, you can bring light into this world because you are a light. And the gospel at home, it helps you to reach there. And thank you. Until we see you again. Bye bye.
God bless.
God bless.